All right, if I would have shown you 2.1 before you took your test yesterday, you probably would have loved me.
Yeah, because we would
Because-
have gotten an A.
Yeah, you would have gotten an A, but I didn't want you to use the graphing calculator.
You should take like a 100.
Now I'm going to show you how to do all these very difficult equations. The absolute value, square root, cube root, rational problems. Any problem, if you flip to the very back page of this packet I gave you, flip to the back, look at all those equations. You are going to be able to do all these on the graphing calculator, okay? There's a few tricks. Does everyone have a calculator in front of them? Yeah? All right, so now, there's two methods. The two methods are the intersection method, which is the least preferred method. And then on the back side is the intercept, the x-intercept method. And that's the method we're gonna spend all of our time on. But I do wanna show you the intersection method. And if you choose to use it, you can. Okay, here's the intersection method. Here's example 1. Everybody have example 1 in front of them. On the left side, you have an equation, and it's the absolute value of x squared minus 4x minus 3. What you're going to do is you're going to take your calculator and go to the y equals button at the upper left-hand corner. And where it says y1, you're going to set y1 equaling this equation right here. So in other words, do you guys know how to get absolute value?
No.
You're going to type in math, look for the math button. So everyone have y equals. Here's y equals in the upper right-hand corner. Whoops.
Does ABS and X?
Yep, ABS. So if you have an equation in your calculator, because I've been using these all day today, clear it out. So where it says y1, you are going to type in abs, which is to get that, it's math, hit the math button, and then above it says NUM. So arrow over to num and abs. That's absolute value. Type in x squared minus 4x minus 3. You guys know how to get the x button?
Yeah.
X squared minus 4x and then minus 3. And then parenthesis. You started with a parenthesis, you have to end with a parenthesis. So we're going to call equation y1 this left side. Then you're going to scroll down to y2. Arrow down to y2. y2 is going to be equal to x, the right side, x cubed. X raised to the third power plus x and then minus 6. Okay, so what you're doing is you're making equation 1 the left side, equation 2 the right side, and now when I hit graph, which is this button right here, when I hit graph, the first picture you see will be the picture of y1. And then along will come y2. So watch my screen. You'll see the first equation graphed. Looks like a W. And then here comes the second one. So the intersect method is where these two equations hit each other, which is right there. Okay, how do we on a calculator find that? Well, we have this button called calc. It can calculate a lot of different things. So to get the calc, you're going to hit second, this blue button, second calc. So everybody do that, hit second calc. Now what are we looking at? We're looking for the intersection, which is number 5. So hit 5. Now, they ask you these questions, first curve. All you need to do for this one, see this little cursor? Get close to this intersection. So arrow over, and then all you have to do is hit enter 3 times. The bottom right side, enter, 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 and there's your answer at the bottom. Bing, intersection. This x value is the answer, 2.207. So along the x-axis, that would be 2.207. So in other words, x is equal to 2.207. If you were to plug this number into this equation, the left side and the right side would match. The left side would equal the right side. Okay? Now, why we don't like this method that much is because I'm gonna flip. You're gonna see, in some cases, you're gonna see some graphs that are hard to see where they intersect, especially on the graphing calculator. You might see something like this, and then to see where they intersect might be kind of hard. So the other method, and by the way, here I have the directions for you to follow along. And if you want to write 2.207, and the y value is not the answer, but that's the ordered pair where those two intersected. The x value is what you want. Okay, so this is the answer right here. We just use the x and y axis to come up with the x value. You're looking for the x value. So now, here is, actually, I'm going to show you with this same problem. The intercept method, what you're going to do is you're going to set the entire equation equal to 0. So what I want you to do is go back to y1, clear both equations, and I want you on line y1, I want you to type this whole equation. So it would look like this: absolute value of x squared minus 4x minus 3, absolute value bar, and then do minus x cubed minus x and plus 6. All I did was I moved these three things on the other side, just changing their signs. So, if you type this in, math, num, abs, x raised to the second power minus 4x minus 3, parenthesis, and then minus x cubed minus x, and then plus 6. And then hit graph. Now you're going to see, now we're going to look for where the graph hits the x-axis. There is one solution, and there it is right there. It's a lot clearer, especially when your graphs start getting crazy looking. It's easier to find an x-intercept than where two graphs intersect each other. So the intercept method is easier. So how do you find where this point hits the x-axis? That's going to be the solution. The 0. We set this equal to 0. So you're going to hit second calc and go to 0. Now we're looking for the 0. So go to 2 and hit enter. Now for this one, they're asking you, I want some boundaries. Here's my solution right here. I need a number to the left of that number, like 1. I'm going to type a number to the left of this, which is, I'm going to use the number 1. So type in a 1, hit enter. They're asking you a question. Give me the bounds that this intercept is. It's between, I'm going to say 1 and 3. I'll use 3 for the right bound. So type in 3, hit enter. Now they're asking you, they're questioning, do you want to take a guess at the answer? I don't feel like guessing. Hit enter again. And then you should have at the very bottom of the screen the actual answer, 2.207, which is the same answer we got before using the other method, 2.207. So now, let's do example 2 using this intercept method. And I have the directions right here. The x-intercept method, we're going to solve this equation using the x-intercept method. So I want you to go to y1. Y1, clear out your screen, clear out your equation, and you're going to type x to the 5th. And you do not have to organize or simplify, which is really nice. So just type in x to the 5th plus x squared minus x cubed. Why minus?
Because you're taking it from the other side.
You're bringing it to the other side. So just type that in the way it is. Don't worry about organizing it or simplifying anything. So x to the 5th plus x squared minus x cubed, and then minus 5. And hit graph. And do you see this? Do you have the same picture that I have? Okay, now I want to know, I see one solution. How do I get that intercept right there? It looks like it's between 1 and 2. You hit second calc and hit 0. Now give me a number to the left of that. X 1. Give me a number to the right. 2. Hit enter. We don't want to guess. And there's your answer. 1.424. Yes.
Does it matter what number you plug in to the left and right column?
Okay, good question. Okay. You want to put something that is definitely to the left. I had somebody put in the wrong, they did the wrong order. And then it'll say error. It'll give you an error message. Like if you put left and you put 2, it's going to say wrong. You definitely need a number to the left. Now the other thing is, watch this. If I change my window, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do a decimal window, which is, these are 1s. So it's not as big. It's not 10. So now that's 1 and that's 2. My screen only goes to -4 point something. Now watch when I type in a number to the left of this that's beyond the screen. If I type in -5, whoops, clear, second calc, I'm going to do my 0, and I'm going to type in -5. Watch what it says. Invalid, error, because I went off the screen. So you definitely have to put a number that's in your screen. And also, you also want to know that you're going to end up having more than one intersection. So you want to stick as close to it as possible, because you might have something coming out here. So you don't want to use like -3 for that one. You want to use something like closer. You want to zero in on this area. So yeah, you could have used 0. You could have used -1 and 3. You don't have to be exactly here and here. I could have went out further for my left and my right bound. Okay? All right, look at this next one. I'm going to cut to the chase here. If you were to type this one in your calculator, so under y1 equals, if you hit the square root button and typed all this in, first you'd have a parenthesis there and then a parenthesis there, and you hit graph, what would end up happening for this one is you would see this, it would break. Before it hits the x-axis, it's not going to hit the x-axis for you. So for these ones where you have one big radical and stuff underneath the radical, set equal to 0, one big radical, all you do for this is understand that if this radical is set equal to 0, this underneath must be equal to 0. So what you do for this one, you take only x to the 4th plus x squared minus 2x, only what's underneath it, and set that equal to 0. So for this one, I want you to do that. Hit y equals, you're going to type x to the 4th, and if you don't believe me, type in it with the square root, and you'll see that it stops, it breaks. So go x to the 4th plus x squared minus 2x.
You don't do the square root?
No, this one, if you do, this is the picture you'll get. It won't hit the x-axis. Okay, so for this particular one, only when it's one radical, one big radical, only when it's one big radical, you do only what's underneath it. Now hit graph. And there's 2 answers here. So let's find the first one. Let's find this one right here. You're going to hit second calc, second calc, whoops, second calc. 0. Give me a left and a right bound. What's this number, guys?
-1.
-1. -1, enter. I'm gonna do 0, enter, enter, and there it is. It's -0.405. And it's right there. Now, how do we get the second one? Just leave everything there and just hit second calc again and go to the next 0. 0. And then what is the left and right bounds? I'm gonna say between 1 and 2. You could do 0 and 2 if you want. So 0, enter, 2, enter, enter. And your next 0 is 1.184. Got it? Okay. And there's the picture of what we just did. We just found both of them right there. All right, what do we do when we have a fraction? Remember on your test yesterday what you did when you had a fraction? What do you set when you have a fraction?
The top
Equal to 0. The top, the numerator. If you don't, look at the picture you get. You're gonna get that ugly picture and then go ahead and try and find out where it hits. You don't want that. So all you're gonna do when you have a fraction is take only the numerator. Take the numerator and set this equal to 0. So set under y1, you're gonna do 2x squared plus x minus 1. So go ahead and do that and tell me what you get. And there's your two answers. You're gonna hit second calc 0. This answer is -1, and this one's positive 0.5. So watch, let's do second calc. I'm gonna show you a way to check your answer. And then -2, enter, 0, enter, enter. And there's your answer. That's -1. And then the second answer, second calc, 0. And that one's between 0 and 1. And there's your answer, 0.5. Now here's a trick if you want to check your answer to see if it's right. Nope, watch how easy this is. Okay, the answer I just got is 0.5, right? Okay, I'm gonna clear my calculator. Just hit clear twice. Clear, clear. Okay, now right away, I want you to type this equation in a clean screen. I want you to type in 2x squared plus x minus 1, and then hit enter. So what this calculator will do, it'll take that last answer, it stores it, and you're gonna type this equation in. What your calculator did was it plugged 0.5 into this equation, and the answer is 0. That's a check. If you didn't get a 0, it's not the right answer. Then go back and redo it, okay? Does everyone understand? What it did was it took 0.5 and it plugged it in here. And you can do it by hand. You could do 2 times 0.5 squared plus 0.5 minus 1, and you'll get 0. But you don't have to, because this does it for you. So I have for you right here how to clear your screen, type the equation, hit enter, and you should get a 0. Okay? Your homework is this back side. Now, I just want you to look at question 1 and 3. These two are not asking you to solve the equation. They don't want the answer. They just want how many solutions are there. So right now, I want you to do number 1 and number 3. Let's do them together. Tell me how many solutions there are. Not what they are, So type in number 1 and tell me how many times you see that graph hitting the x-axis. What did you get? How many? 3. Anyone get something else? Do you see that? It hit 3 times. That's not. It's 3. The answer is 3.
Yeah.
It is not. You guys think that it's the same degree, the answer is the degree of the problem, and that is not true. The degree means that there could be 7 solutions. That doesn't mean there's gonna be 7 solutions, because this picture, it could be like this. 1, 2, 3, and then it could go like this. These are not real solutions, and you're gonna discover that when we get to chapter 3. So, check out number 3. This one was 3 solutions, and this one is 3 also. There's only 3 solutions. So please don't get fooled by the fact that this is a 7, so there's 7 solutions. There may not be. Just like when you have a quadratic equation, check out this. Here's a quadratic equation that has no solutions.
Hi,
Hi.
can I have Brad for like 2 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
There's 2 Brads?
Oh,
Which-
this Brad.
This
Is there
Brad?
a different Brad?
Brad, watch, you don't trip. Okay, now. Your job is, I want you to start this homework. It's gonna take us today and tomorrow to do all these problems. We're gonna do all these problems and, check out our solution. So, as we're going along, I want you to check out the answer. I'm gonna put the answers up here, and I wanna make sure that you're getting them correctly. Now, for questions 11 and 13, do you remember what I told you about 15 minutes ago? How will you type 11 and 13 in your calculator? Without the square root. Good job, Lily. Now, what about number 15? That one you're gonna need the square root. So when you type 15 in your calculator, you would do x squared minus the square root of x minus 5. That one you need, but only when it's one square root set equal to 0, you only take what's underneath. How do you type 19 in your calculator? What do? Just the numerator. So x cubed minus 4x plus 1. You're going to type that in your calculator. Only that. Okay? So let's start these. Number 7. You're going to type what in your calculator? X to the 3rd plus 4x squared plus 10x and then plus 15. Hit graph. And can you tell me the answer? Second calc. And I got negative 2.426. Number 5, don't worry about it. Don't worry about number 5. Number 9. Number 9. X to the 4 plus x minus 3. And make sure you delete anything else that's in your, on that line. If you don't, you're gonna get the wrong answer. Graph that one. Now what happens if you don't see anything? What should you do? What should you do? You wanna change your window. typed my question wrong. X minus. There you go, there's two answers. It's second calc, 0, and my bounds for the first, always do go left to right. So -2, enter, -1, enter, enter. And I got -1.45. Did you get that? How about the second one? That one's between 0, enter, 2, enter. I got 1.164. Now, if I wanted to check this answer, I hit clear, and type that equation in, you should get a 0. That will put that last number into that equation. Okay, number 11, how will you type that one in? Can you guys see it? I know it's really
Without
light.
the square root.
Without the square root, you're gonna type in
I'll see.
x to the 4th plus x cubed minus x minus 3. We're gonna finish with this one, x to the 4th plus x to the 3rd minus x, and then minus 3. Hit graph. There's two answers. Second calc, 0. And I'm gonna do -2, enter, 0. Did you get -1.475? And how about the other one? 0, enter. 1.237? Excellent. All right, we will finish these tomorrow. Could you please put your calculators back into the
Here.
tray?